On this trip, I went to explore a place that is not well known to the public. I am visiting radioactive hotspots just outside the capital, Budapest. Near Nagykopasz Hill, air radiometry surveys done in the 50s showed massive radioactive anomalies. It was later shown that this is caused by a relatively large amount of thorium, which they surveyed with a bunch of boreholes, trenches and so on. Further studies shown that there is also a small amount of uranium here, along with the presence of lanthanides like cerium. And it just so happens that I found some of those. On my way to the hotspots, I had to take forgotten paths, which meant a lot of wildlife. It was a long hike, so when I found a nice stick, I instantly took it with me for walking. Initially, they suspected that the thorium is within the upper clay layer with kaolinite that I have shown in my previous video, but the surveys have proven that the thorium got to the upper layers from the deeper dolomite or limestone layers. Also, hydrothermal origin was a major visible factor in the formation of these minerals. According to a paper from '62, the average thorium content was 0.3%, but individual chunks were found bearing more than 12% thorium. And as you can see later, it looks like they were not alone with this feat. The mineral identified was kerallite, which is a phosphate mineral closely related to the monazite group, and actually relatively rare. It forms part of the monazite brabantite solid solution series. You can see the dump from here, right about there. Let's see what we get. Our count rate is definitely increasing. See some diggings, and there's a borehole actually from the 50s. It's supposedly about 60-70 meters deep, but it's not straight down, it's like at an angle. Let's come down and see what we get. There's these nice hydrothermal formations. You can see, oh my god, it's so heavy. You can see this is clearly hydrothermal. Oh yeah. Let's do a slow mode. Put this down. And the meters are going haywire. Let's see. So I'm at what, 1x, so getting about 0.34 milliröntgens per hour. That's like 3 microsieverts. I remember this hole. Let's see. Easily at almost 10 microsieverts per hour. Pretty nice. Let's see. Shut up. I'm gonna set this down here and go into search mode. Yeah. Just the ambient has 1.5-ish. It's pretty nice. And this is why I got a mask. So, this is the part where I edit out over 3 hours of strenuous digging. Honestly, this was a nightmare. Every time I hit the ground, the background radiation at least tripled, so measuring pieces was impossible unless I moved at least 10 meters away. The terrain was super steep and the wind was blowing this dust everywhere. Thorium is mostly an alpha emitter, so wearing an FFP3 mask was completely warranted here. Measurements were all over the place, and it was impossible to get a sense of direction. Eventually I figured out that most likely I am measuring the various decay products concentrating in the soil. There were individual pieces, but to be honest, it was a miracle I found some. The rest of them are probably laying deep under. Én vagyok itt. I tried using another device to get a better sense of direction, but with minimal success. Background was simply too high. Eventually, I switched it up and started to just look for spicy rocks, and of course, the very first piece I checked was one of them. Yeah, this is definitely a piece of something. The background is too high even here. 1.5. After about 4 hours of work, I moved on to a nearby survey trench. An interesting bit of info is that the famous baths of Budapest, like Rudas, Lukács or Gellért, to name a few, all have relatively high radon content, and it is likely that these owe their radon content to this deeper layer of thorium and U minerals.
Got it. It's this part.
I moved on to the third spot, a very old shaft and its dump, right next to a popular hiking trail. If only the people I met knew what they were missing out on, especially those who used the radioactive dump as a toilet. Good job, people.
Yeah, this is at least 60, 80 years old. Oh, let's see what we find. At least I don't feel like wearing a mask here.
You might wonder, what happened after the surveys? Most of those were conducted decades ago. If I can just go there and pick 10 microsievert rocks off the ground, isn't it worth it? Well, back then people were only interested in uranium, and that kinda killed it on its own. However, the reason I used so many maybes and likelies in this video is basically the lack of money and people to further look into this. Most of the studies, which I link in the description, are from a long time ago or made by students on their own. Thanks to them, by the way. Nowadays, thorium is seen as more than feasible, but my guess is that we will never learn about what secrets lie beneath the ground here. Despite the conditions, I have managed to collect a few nice specimens. Stay tuned for the HD pictures and detail videos along with some gamma specs. Thanks for watching, and if you like what you see, sub to the channel. See you in the next one. Now let's see the videos and pictures with my favorite and strongest specimen at the end. This was just an ordinary piece of calcite from the survey trench, nothing special. This was a big chunk, but a nice looking one. Since it has a low dose rate, it is currently working as a garden rock with its nice colors. The next one is a handy piece with a relatively low dose rate again. Gamma spec clearly shows thorium, as with all the other ones. This is my last piece from the first spot. On its most potent surface, it emits 9-10 microsieverts per hour, so about 100 times the local background. The Ludlum, of course, having an alpha-capable probe, shows way higher rates at 9000 CPM. I did a 4-hour gamma spec for it, and no surprises there, this guy definitely has a high thorium content. This strongly suggests that this rock has a layer of kerolite, the approximate thorium content of which is 25 to 30%. What's interesting is that someone on Reddit pointed out that maybe at the beginning of the gamma spec we can see XRF peaks, X-ray fluorescence, most likely caused by cerium. Unfortunately, I don't have the equipment to prove that. Maybe I'll have it checked out later.